Today I'm trying to score a touchdown with every starting quarterback in NCAA football, but I only get one drive with each team where I have to play on the hardest difficulty, and some of these matchups aren't favorable. Also, there's 126 colleges in the game, and I have to score at least 100 touchdowns today because if I don't, I have to give away a jersey to a random commenter. In this video, you're also going to get to see every team's home stadium, and we're getting started with Zach Larrier from Air Force, who's actually had a pretty incredible year. I already see circle wide open, and Eldridge is going to make a juke move, and this is going to get us to at least the 30. He's going to go down. But that was a fantastic start, and this Air Force offense is kind of weird, but we're going to float it up and already score a touchdown. That was a lot quicker than I thought it would be. And the next college on the list is Akron. I still can't believe how quickly we scored that first touchdown, but now we're going to be using Jeff Undercutler, and I think it's going to be a bit more difficult. I'm only allowed to use the quarterback to move the ball down the field and score touchdowns, so if we ever use any running backs, it's going to be out of passing. And if I've never used your favorite college in a video before, it's going to happen today. We're already fumbling it though, so that's very intimidating because I don't want to fail scoring on a drive this early into the video. It is now 3rd and 11 and they're running man-to-man coverage, so we're just going to take the out to Gathings, and we all know that I'm blind, so I'm definitely due to throw an interception at some point in this video. But Jeff Undercuffler is starting to get a bit more comfortable. I'm going to roll out and float this one up to the slant, and he just couldn't get the ball out in time. We almost had our second touchdown right there, and now I'm going to try to force feed it into a very tight window, but our receiver just decided to not catch the football, and he got both hands on it, so I don't understand that, but at least we're going to pick up the first down. Josiah Gathings has been our go-to man, and I'm going to feed him again, so as of now, I'm 2 for 2, and there's no reason that I should fail this next one. Jalen Milroe is the quarterback for this drive, and we're already finding Jermaine Burton, but if you're wondering how I select which defense we face off against, it's always going to be versus the previous team that just had an offensive drive. That means whoever's up next is going to go up against Alabama, and we're going to have to find Benson for a big gain, but unless I make a stupid read, we shouldn't turn the ball over, and I might as well try to use a little bit of Jalen Milroe's speed as he's going to get us to the 5. We're only a few yards out now, and I might as well just try to roll around, and you know what? I'm going to try to dive into the pylon, which I'm able to do. We might have had success there, but this next one's going to be hard, and I'm not sure if I can get it done with App State. Joey Aguilar is facing the toughest defense that we have seen yet. He's already having to break 1 sack, and he just got the throw out in time, but he's only a 74 overall, and I'm looking straight at Christian Horn, who actually burnt Kool-Aid McKinstry. I think the name of the game's just going to be taking whatever Alabama gives us, and for Heisman difficulty, we are flying down the field so far. I do play a lot of NCAA football, and I'm going for the deep route to Robinson, which he holds on to. I just can't afford to make a mistake now that we have gotten this far down the field, and I like the tight end on the seam up the middle, which we are going to instantly hit for the touchdown. I did not mean to float that ball, but I will take having success, and the longer I can keep this streak going, the better, because I know at some point I'm going to make some stupid reads and throw interceptions. We're going to find Coing out of the backfield early on though, and look at that juke move. I put Noah Fafita in as well because I watched him almost pull off the upset over USC, and even though he lost to Oregon like 35-6, he's been named the starter for the rest of the year. We have somebody open down the field, but I saw it a second too late, and now App State is sending a blitz, so we had to get it out in time, but it's still 3rd and inches, so we might as well just take the drag underneath, pick up the easy first down and a little bit more. I'm really intimidated by the fact that I haven't thrown it straight into a pick so far because normally I make a ton of stupid reads, but this is one of those matchups where we have the favorable advantage and we're stuck on a 4th down. We have no choice but to try and pick this one up. I see the angle route. Thankfully, he holds on, and that was very close to being the first drive that we failed, but we're going to run the same play again, and this time Noah Fafita is going to scramble to the 3. Just a few more yards to be 5 for 5, and I had the slant, but I saw it late. That was a dumb decision. He is going to break this sack and throw it off of his foot to McMillan, so somehow we ended up finding the end zone, and we got an in-state rivalry for our next one. Arizona State's had like 4 different starters at quarterback this year, but as of right now, it is Trenton Burgett, so he's in, and I'm hoping this is another drive that we're successful on, but that was an inaccurate throw on 3rd down, and we're going to have to go up the seam to our best player. Tight end Jalen Conyers is like this entire team's offense, but I'm going to throw an interception to Pysock, and I knew a failure was coming at some point, but I didn't think it was going to be on this drive. If I'm going to score 100 touchdowns in this video, I can only fail once every 5 drives, so as of right now, we're still on pace to be successful, and KJ Jefferson's going to have to be much better in game than he has been in real life. We should not have made that catch, but we did. I'm telling you all, once I start slinging it, you have no idea where the ball is going to go. We're going to get Raheem Sanders involved, but I'm probably going to need to go back to making slow and composed reads. This man-to-man coverage just stuck to our players like glue, and this might be a dumb decision to throw it, but we're going to anyways and get to about the 3. Arizona State was our first failed offensive drive, and they just sent a blitz at us, so this one bad team is trying to ruin all the momentum we had, but Isaac Tesla made sure that he held on to the touchdown, and it's time for another very difficult drive. I have no idea who Arkansas State's quarterback is, but apparently the starter right now is freshman 65 overall Jalen Rayner, and I don't know why it's him because they have an 83 on this NCAA football roster. I might as well just scramble here since nothing's getting open against man coverage, and he's got some speed. I should honestly be scared of trying to throw the ball, but Jeff Foreman did get open on this play. And even though he's only a 65 overall, Jalen Raynor did have an accurate throw, but this offensive line is terrible. And wait, we can get up from this. We're going to be able to run, and we actually made some yards back. This kid is a superhero. We did not deserve to get it to a 2nd and 12, but we did. And there's a chance that on paper, he is the worst starter I use in this video, but he's been good. All we really need is about 10 more yards, and this time the slant is going to break the coverage, but we finally got an inaccurate throw, and I knew it was coming eventually, but I think we're going to score here, and we do. He actually had a pretty clean pocket on this play and easily completed it. So we're 7 for 8 going into this Army one, and their stadium has a beautiful backdrop. It's going to be hard to run the option since Bryson Daly has to keep it. So like I did with Air Force, I'm probably just going to have to throw the ball, and I don't know if anyone's really going to get open here. We're going to try to complete this one though, and there's our second interception. I told you all that the picks were coming, but at least we now get to use Auburn versus that Army defense, and Peyton Thorne, who transferred in from Michigan State's just going to have to get it done for us today, but that is a tight window. I'm starting to feel the pressure of not screwing up. I've already thrown 2 interceptions. We're going to go with a little bit of halfback screen here to get the first, and if I can't score with a much better team versus a weaker team, that's going to make me just look bad as a player, but Deal just juked that guy out, and to be honest, both of my interceptions so far were completely avoidable, so that's why I'm so upset about it, but we're going to keep taking our checkdowns because Deal keeps running with it. He looks like he's about the size of a tight end, so I'm going to assume that's what he plays, but he's been very good, and I'm hurrying this up so the refs cannot review it because I'm not sure it was a catch, but we're going to go over the middle, and that was just a terrible throw. 2nd and 10 now, and I feel like they're going to send a blitz our direction. Our tight ends open up the seam, and that's a touchdown, so we were able to score with Auburn in less than 10 plays, but we have another lopsided game, and so far we haven't failed on any of the drives where we're heavily outmatched, but I know at some point that's going to end, and I hope it's not on this drive. I might as well just go to our running back for the first play to get about 8, and Lane Hatcher looks very tiny back there, but he is able to break at least 1 sack, except it won't matter because he couldn't get it out in time, and now he's missing the throw. It is 4th and 9, and I might as well try to go on this post to Gilly, who is going to hold on to the ball, thankfully, but we were very close to failing our 3rd drive of the video already, and I don't want to get in another 4th down situation because that was extremely intimidating. We're going to spin out of it with Magwood though, and it seems like this Ball State offense has some dogs on it. We have the corner route to the tight end who's going to catch, and Brady Hunt is who came up with the big play. However, the refs are trying to take it away by reviewing it, and I know it was a little bit close, but this is clearly a touchdown, so in the end the play stood, and we're sitting at 9 for 11. Now I can't say that this drive is a free touchdown for Baylor because they got upset by Wyoming, and Blake Shapen's already taken a sack. That is not what you want to see to start a game, and they are sticking with the slant perfectly, so I'm going to have to try to find Monterey Baldwin, and he holds on. I really should not have thrown that ball into this window, but he came away with it anyway, and he's one of the fastest receivers in the game, so I'm probably going to look in his direction a lot on this drive. To make sure we get our halfback involved, we're just going to go with a little bit of a halfback screen and juke out of here with Reese. Maybe we can get a big play out of it to the 40, but he got stopped about 5 yards short, and now I see man-to-man coverage, and they sack us again. This Ball State defense is playing us very tough. We're going to try to go for our out route, and Hal Presley comes away with it for a big gain, and I'm going to go right back in his direction for another one. He's been by far our most consistent receiver, and on this play, I'm going to try to scramble. We'll get a little bit of a run in to get us to about the 5, but Ball State has not made it easy for us, and there's some man-to-man coverage. Monterey Baldwin was the player that held on to the football, and now we're traveling to Boise State to see their blue field. This is such a fun video concept because we get to see where every team plays in the game in one video, and I'm going to use so many different teams that I would never think about using as Taylor Green gets sacked. That was unfortunate, but now we need to pick something up on 3rd and 12, and all I see is the drag, which is only going to get us a few more yards. I try so hard to avoid these 4th down situations, but our wide receiver on the left side's breaking the press, and he holds on. Stephen Cobbs just came up massively for us, but it looks like I might take another sack with Green, and he gets it out. Cobbs had so much space in front of him, but he forgot how to catch, and Baylor is sending heavy blitzes at us. Taylor Green's going to somehow break that first sack, but go down here, which means we have another 3rd and long, and this man-to-man coverage is clamping up as that's another drop. I don't really know what to go with on 4th and 14, but I'm going to have to try to find our tight end. Smith is going to catch it and go for more. So we are very fortunate that this drive is still alive, and you know what? Let's go with the deep post to Billy Bowens for another big gain. I feel like we've thrown for 100 yards on one drive, and we just need to finish it off the right way. But now that it's 3rd and goal, we only have 2 more chances to do it, and we're going to go underneath for this one, which means it all comes down to this, and I should have made a read a little bit sooner, but I didn't, and this time we're going to fit into that tight window where Austin Terry, the backup tight end, somehow caught it. We did not deserve to score there. I didn't take the slant because I was afraid he'd be stopped short of the end zone, and then I just rolled out and threw a prayer somehow over that guy's head, and that was a struggle, but we've still only failed on 2 drives. Thomas Castellanos is in for Boston College. That's who we're going to be using for this one, and we get the first down already, but the Boise State offense was able to pull off a lot of miracles, so we'll see how their defense is. I'm a bit worried because that was a terribly inaccurate throw. We would have had something, and I might as well just take our flat, which is going to result in another first down. But it seems like Castellanos has a lot of time back in the pocket there, and I probably shouldn't have said it on this play. He is rolling around to make a play, and we're going to set our feet to throw it. It's unfortunate that we have dealt with 2 inaccurate throws already in this game, but I'm determined to reach the end zone, and I thought that defensive tackle was about to run up the middle, so I'm just going to run around here to get to around the 30. It's been an interesting drive so far, and I think I'm going to go with the corner route to Takas. I've never heard of this guy before, but he seems all right because he was able to hold on to the ball, and let's go with the drag underneath O'Keefe. To be honest with you all, the only time I'm ever watching Boston college football is when they had it close against Florida State, and Castellanos is so tired, so I'm going to use the timeout to give him some rest, and we're very fortunate that he didn't fumble it there on the goal line. On this left side of the field, I see our running back, and it's an interception. He was wide open, and I waited for him to cut back to the end zone to throw it, but that ball was still inaccurate, so now we have to find a way to score on the Eagles with Bowling Green, and that would make us 12 for 15, keeping us on pace to complete the challenge of 100 touchdowns. Connor Bazelak is back there at quarterback for us, and we might as well continue to check it down, but I'm so bummed out that we didn't finish that last drive with a touchdown because we should have. On this play, I might take a risk and try to go deep to Hogan. I feel like he's going to run by that cornerback, and it was a bit underthrown, but he still catches it and breaks the tackle. So Finn Hogan is evidently a monster, and on this one, we have an inaccurate throw. To be honest, we probably should have had the touchdown there, but it's going to end up being all right because it's only third down, and this slant is going to be right behind Ibram. We're very fortunate that he was able to adjust and hold on to the football, and since he was marked for a first down, we have a few plays to get in, and that's going to make us 12 for 15. Now, next up, we got some MAC action, and the Bulls have Cole Snyder at quarterback, who might have had the deep route there, but I didn't take it. In the process of trying to avoid throwing interceptions, I've been very hesitant on throwing the deep routes, but we're going to take a bad sack, and I've got to stop waiting to throw the ball. I've just got to take what the defense is giving us, and this 3rd and 25 is getting picked up somehow. What I like to do is just stare down one route, but that's not always the best of ideas. We're going deep again. This time it's caught, and we've had back-to-back explosive plays. This time, you know what? Let's just do it again on the deep post for the 3rd time in a row. It's picked, of course. I'm hoping for the best by challenging it, though, because I feel like that ball hit the ground, and on instant replay, it's very clear to me that that ball definitely touched, but the refs say that the play stands, so that's another failed drive that really shouldn't have happened. For the next one, we have Keaton Slavis in at quarterback for BYU, and we're playing against Buffalo, so I'm kind of expecting us to pick apart this defense, especially because the Cougars are now a Big 12 team. I think we're going to try to mix in a deep shot if we can get this throw off, and we do. I see that Hill has burnt that corner, and he is going to take this one to the crib for the longest touchdown we've had, so that did not take us long at all, and Cal is pretty evenly matched with BYU, so I'm expecting Sam Jackson V to finish this drive with a touchdown, and we're already going to find Taj Davis, who's going to get free and go for a spin move to get us to the 45. This offense feels a little bit speedy, and you know what? We might as well go for another deep shot. This one's going to be another touchdown, and Taj Davis was our entire offense for that drive. Now, there's no way we can air it out like that in this next one because Central Michigan is severely outmatched, and Jace Bauer will probably have to take checkdowns the entire time, but we are going for the other deep route to Jackson, and I think we have found the cheat code that is burning these defenses. That is 3 explosive plays back to back to back, and if you can find the speedsters on this team, they are able to cook some of these corners. Until recently, nobody was running man-to-man press, but with Charlotte's Jalen Jones, I'm hoping for another look like that, and Central Michigan did not give us enough time by sending the blitz with their man-to-man coverage like glue as well. I'm surprised we picked this up. Randy Fields Jr. looked very quick there, so maybe that's somebody that we can go over the top to later on. We're going to have a wide open White though, and why are you running backwards? That should have definitely been a first down, but you know what? We're going to try to go the Hestera, and he is going to get past number 3. He's going to break the tackle as well, so we're at the 20. And all it took was a couple of big plays, and I feel so much better on offense, but all of that momentum could go away at any second, and I'm finding the tight window to White again. My risk tolerance is at an all-time high, so we're going to scramble in, and it wasn't too difficult to score with Charlotte, so we're sitting at 16 and 20, barely on pace for 100 touchdowns, and Emory Jones is now the Bearcats quarterback, where he is already going to find a wide open Mateer for us to get past midfield. Also, if I pronounce a name wrong in this video, that is a given. I suck at pronouncing names, but that was a bad throw, so we're very fortunate that they just swatted it down instead of intercepting it, and we might take a sack here if Emory Jones can't make a play, but he somehow did. We should not be struggling to score against Charlotte, but their defense is giving us some weird looks, so we just have to be smart underneath, and I can't wait to read the comments where you all tell me about all the open routes that I missed throughout the video. Obviously, if I saw it, I would throw it, and I had the check down there, but instead I tried to make a play, so it's basically 2nd and goal from the 14, and again, this is going to be a late delayed route, but it's going to be picked instead. If I was able to set my feet with Emory Jones, this would have been a touchdown, but it was very badly thrown, and it feels like all of the momentum we just had got crushed, but I'm getting to use Cade Klubnik and Clemson versus Cincinnati, so we should score a touchdown. I can't believe I've already thrown 5 interceptions, but it is what it is, and you know what? I'm going to go for the comeback route, even though it was a bit risky. And right now, we're 2 for 2. Cincinnati sending a blitz to try to stop us, but we're going to keep going to Collins. And you can see the desperation from the Bearcats as they keep sending blitzes our way while we make the right read. I figured that they were going to struggle to stop this Tiger offense, but I don't want to throw that, and that's going to be a sack. I didn't want to risk another interception, but in the end, it probably would have been a better decision as we're going to be on a 4th down, and I just got to hope for the best on 4th and 5. It's man-to-man coverage. He's stuck with Brown like glue, and it's knocked away. All of a sudden, we are really struggling to score, and it's about to get even harder. Coastal Carolina is 16 overalls worse, but I'm ready to lock in with Grayson McCall because we cannot afford to have another bad drive, and they send a blitz his way, but he is going to use his legs to get us to the 40. I don't think he has much help on this offense, and I'm not seeing very many routes getting open as we just take our running back, but we can't afford to fail on another drive, so if I have to keep going back to him, that's what I'll have to do. It's 3rd and 5 though, so we're going to need a bit more of a gain, and I see the deep route actually got open. I'm not sure how Mobley burnt number 2, but we're going to take it to the crib. So we pulled off the miraculous drive, and that bounce back from us was desperately needed. With Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter out there versus Coastal Carolina, I'm hoping that this is one that we're able to score a touchdown with ease, but I'm starting to notice that whenever I go into a drive expecting that, we tend to struggle a bit more, so I am prepared, and Dylan Edwards is going to take this halfback screen for a lot of yards. He is quick, so I was thinking that was going to happen, and we're already to their 25. This is man-to-man coverage, but nothing got open until Shedeur throws it off his back foot, and that should have been picked. I simply just panicked and hit a button because we were about to take a sack, but that was not the right move, and once again, we're in a 3rd and 10 where we really shouldn't be, so I'm going to Travis Hunter for the catch, and if he gets open on this curl route, I'm going to have to go right back to the left side of the field. I think it's best if we run the read option, but I'm going to have to keep it no matter what, and Shedeur is going to truck his way in. So that was an excellent finish to this drive, and if you watched this rivalry game this year, you would know that this one was a classic. Braden Fowler-Nicholas is back there at quarterback, and that's probably the only time in this video I'm going to say his name, but Torrey Horton is the guy that you want to focus on because he is incredible. He just got by Travis Hunter there, and he spun him out as well. I'm going to need him to play very well if we're going to score a touchdown, and you know what? Let's try the deep post that is incredibly misthrown. I mean, there wasn't even anybody close to being in that area, and that's another bad one. So it is 4th and 5, and we might have to go with the flat and just hope he holds onto the ball, but he doesn't. We are no longer on pace to score 100 touchdowns, so I need to go on a run of successful drives, and with Riley Leonard at quarterback, I feel like we should be able to do that with this Duke team. Calhoun is already going to get a big gain, and he looked extremely quick there, so I kind of want to go back to him, but I'm not getting this ball out. I think they're going to go with cover 3 again, but this time it is man-to-man, and I'm going to have to go deep. That is just thrown perfectly on the money. Look at Calhoun's stride, and I'm perfectly fine with him being the only player we went to there because we need to rack up a ton of touchdowns, and I'm not sure if Alex Flynn has what it takes to get it done, but we're going to have to trust in him. This East Carolina offense is only like a 74 overall on the game, and that means we have got to be on top of it, but I'm going to continue to take the out routes if they're going to give it to us. And on a 2nd and 10, it is man-to-man coverage again, so I'm going right to Jarrett Garner, who is going to juke 26 out of his shoes, and I think he's going to be able to take this one to the crib, which is massive. This one guy single-handedly carried the entire offense down the field, and now we're taking a trip to the factory. The gray field has an odd name, and Austin Smith is back there at quarterback for Eastern Michigan, and he almost threw a pick already. That is a terrible start for us, but I'm not going to give up on trying to take these corner routes, and it is looking rough for us, but we have to get something going, and on this deep post, we finally do. I was starting to get a little bit worried for a second, but now we can play it much smarter, and I'm just going to continue to look underneath to take whatever they're giving us, and that's what we're going to do on this play as well. I got into such a rhythm of taking deep shots that I stopped making reads, and that's when we really started to turn the ball over a lot, but Reese has been very effective for us. And besides those first 2 rough balls from Austin Smith, he hasn't been too terrible. He also has a little bit of speed on him, so he's able to avoid the sack and get the first, which makes me feel a lot better about this drive because we should be able to finish it off. And I think I'm going to run 4 straight quarterback sneaks. Surely we're going to be able to get in, and that makes us 21 for 28. Right now, we're only scoring on 75% of our drives, but we should have a freebie here with Graham Mertz and the Florida offense because they're going against Eastern Michigan, and we have a big overall advantage here, so I'm going to try to go for the deep shot early on, which was really dumb. I should really stop going for the explosive plays, especially when we have such an advantage. On this one, we are going to get rocked, and it is 3rd and 10 where we have to pick this up, which we thankfully aren't going to do now. We had it, but for whatever reason, our receiver ran backwards, and on this 4th and 1, I'm just going to roll out with Graham Mertz. We almost didn't pick it up. Nobody got open, and I'm starting to get very nervous that I might not be able to score with Florida. We are literally facing Eastern Michigan, so it should be cake for us, but we have struggled at different parts, except not now. I knew Ricky Pearsall would get open on the deep post, but now we have to use Florida Atlantic versus the Gators. And quarterback Daniel Richardson looks extremely tiny back there. He also has gloves on, so this could be rough. He wasn't even able to throw this ball away even though I spammed it. And it is 2nd and 26, so I am just going to try to roll out with him. Maybe he can throw the slant, and it's not looking too good for the Owls' drive against the Gators. We are going to make it a 4th and manageable, but we still have to be able to pick it up, and on the curl route, we actually get it to Wester. I cannot believe this drive is still alive, and they have good man coverage on this play, so we need to throw it away. But I'm almost tempted to try and mix in a run. We have to keep it with Richardson no matter what, and that worked for a few. We're going to struggle to get big gains, but I will take it to Wester over and over, because to be honest, he's been our entire offense until we finally had someone else catch it. If he's good enough, he might be able to beat that corner deep on that side of the field, and he did, but the ball is so inaccurate, and this is exactly why I hadn't been going deep, because that should have been a touchdown. Just when I thought we were starting to get back in a rhythm, it all went downhill for us, but we have Jordan Travis and FSU versus this Florida Atlantic defense, so there is zero reason we should struggle, and I see Keon Coleman going deep already. This might be one of the quickest drives, but one of the best receivers in college football just forgot how to catch. It is 3rd and 10, and they are sending a blitz our way. They are being disrespectful, but I can't blame them because they've already forced us to a 4th and 1, and I'm just going to have to scramble with Jordan Travis to pick this one up. That was a nice juke, but please just slide on down. We cannot afford to make many mistakes for a very long time. I'm going to Jaheim Bell, and now we're going to step back with Jordan Travis and find our corner route. Just about another 15 yards, and we would have officially finished it off. I might as well run with Jordan Travis, though, because that's what he is best at least when it comes to making a play out of nothing and the slant is open. That's going to put us at 23 for 31, and to get back on pace to score 100 touchdowns, we need to score on our next 9 drives. It all starts with Fresno State's Mikey Keene, and on the first play, we are picking up a big gain to Watson for about 20, so I'll definitely take that. It's going to be an uphill battle, and that cornerback just came down, so we're going to float it over him, which was a bit risky, but I figured it would pay off, and we went with a little bit of a bubble screen to Mac Delano, who just shoved that guy to the ground. He's come away with back-to-back catches for us, and now I'm going to have to roll out, maybe just take the easy thing underneath. Trey Watson gets another one as well, and I have no choice but to get into a rhythm if we're going to score 9 touchdowns in a row. I don't want to go with anything deep because that is extremely risky, but I do see a route bouncing back over the middle, and we took it. 6 for 6 for 76 yards, and that's how you take care of business on a tough drive. To be honest, I don't think Carson Beck's going to have too many issues with this Fresno State defense. He's already finding Brock Bowers for a massive gain, and he also had a spin move, which is going to get us to about the 30. So even though he's not healthy in real life, I'm happy that he is healthy on this roster, and that juke was beautiful. We've already scored. This result's going to make us 25 for 33, but I think we're going to struggle a ton with Georgia Southern. That overall gap is going to make a massive difference, and Davis Brin is going to have to play extremely smart against this defense. He doesn't have speed on him either, which is going to make it harder. I just need to make sure I set my feet with him, but this man-to-man coverage is making it so nobody's close to getting open. Please don't catch that. And on 3rd and 10, they're going with man-to-man coverage, but the throw's off the marks. I might try something like that again. This time it's going to lead to a completion, thank goodness. And now they're switching it up, going with a zone, which allows us to take the drag underneath, and those 4 yards might not seem like much, but we are going to need it as this is not getting open at all. I might try a halfback screen just to switch it up, and they weren't expecting it, so we are going to get at least another first down. But if we're going to score on this drive, we have to stay locked in. And is that cornerback slower than our receiver? No, he's not, but he's not going to make a play on it. Derwin Burgess Jr. just made the best play of his career, and Davis Brin just needs a couple more yards to finish this drive off, which I think we should just scramble. I wasn't expecting to score with Georgia Southern, but it seems like we're starting to get back on a roll, and Georgia State's Darren Granger cannot break that streak. We're already going to go for the corner route, and he just got it out in time. What a beautiful play by him, and I think we're going to have the drag underneath if nothing else, but I should probably mix in a halfback screen because that worked for us against our last opponent, and look at Carroll go to at least the first down marker. We're 3 for 3 so far, and that gives me a little bit of confidence, but that throws off, so we need to get the ball out a bit quicker on 2nd down, and I probably shouldn't have floated that pass because it's knocked down. It is 3rd and long, and they are pressing our best 2 receivers, but it worked out for them, so I think we're just going to have to scramble, and apparently Granger has some speed. We've kept the drive alive, a little bit of play action here. It never hurt, but it's a bad throw, and we continue to run into the issue of having a lot of inaccurate balls, but it is on Heisman, so I guess that should probably be expected. They went with man-to-man coverage. I saw that square was wide open, but I would have rather scrambled because that side of the field was open, and it's a bit far for a quarterback sneak, but we'll get there eventually. We just need a little bit more, and if I could hike the ball, I think we'd get in, but we're not going to. So here on 3rd down, I'm doing it again, and he gets over the top. He probably should have fumbled this ball, but he stretched it over the goal line instead, and we're on to using the final team in Georgia with Haynes King at the helm, and we're going to start it off with a terrible pass. You can't be missing throws like that, and now they're going with a deep coverage, so I might have to take a sack, and this Georgia Tech team has pulled off upsets in real life, so we should not be struggling against Georgia State. There we go. Malik Rutherford is very good, so I should probably continue to go back to him for another big play. And now I'm going to play it smart by going with our flat to Dante Smith, and this allows us to get like 7 or 8 yards. We're going with a little bit of play action again, and this time Haynes King is going to miss again. So that is very frustrating because we would have had the first down, and now I threw that into a very tight window. Singleton Jr. came away with it though, and I need to remember to keep doing these halfback screens because Dante Smith is going to catch it, and that allows us to get another 8. I feel like we're doing a pretty good job on this drive at making the right reads, but that one wasn't, and we're going back to the exact same play where this time Leonard stayed still, and he really wants a touchdown. It seems like quarterback sneaks are the best way to get in, but one of these days we are definitely going to fumble the ball, and we're currently on a streak of 6 straight successful drives, so Donovan Smith cannot break it now, and we should just feed Samuel Brown Jr. He was able to pull in a one-handed catch, so I know he's going to be successful throughout most of this video at pulling stuff in, and Donovan Smith also has a lot of speed, and that makes me feel a lot better about our chances of scoring, but they blew up the halfback screen. We're going to have to keep this read option no matter what, but they still bit, and he's going to juke out a player to get about 9. So we're on a 3rd and 2, but I'm not too worried, and that's going to seal at least a first down. We haven't run into too many issues yet, and I have to try to go deep. Look at Samuel Brown Jr. going, and he catches it. So thankfully that safety didn't make a play, but for a split second I thought I threw a pick. And next up is Hawaii's Braden Schrager, who was already going to complete a big pass to Ashlock, and I'm not sure why my list is out of alphabetical order that I use for imperialism, but apparently Hawaii didn't play when they were supposed to. They come before Houston alphabetically, but all these teams are about the same overall, and that's going to be an interception. Wonderful. We had a good streak going. I don't know what I was thinking, but we're struggling to get back on pace to hit 100 touchdowns, and Luke Altmaier is going to have zero room for error. We cannot fail to score with the Fighting Illini because we need it. I was doing very well until I made that bad read, but our corner route should get open, and that is a beautifully placed ball. It was also a very risky one, but I'll definitely take it. And out of the hurry-up offense, we're going to continue to feed it to Washington, who keeps catching it. I want to keep Hawaii's defense on their toes as they have not been able to stop us yet, and we're inside the 5-yard line, so I'm just going to have to look around, but they're getting in the blitz instead. We're not in quarterback sneak range, but Washington broke the press, and that's our 30th touchdown of the video. The upcoming run of teams are all pretty even, so we need freshman Taven Jackson to come up big time for us, and they took out the route that I was looking for, but we do have someone else deep, and I will go all the way to midfield. I was so surprised by it, I struggled to speak, but we are moving it again, and we got to try at least one halfback screen, but Illinois is all over it, except Henderson still caught it. I don't know how we came away with that one, but I'm definitely not going to complain about it. Carter just had a beautiful spin move, and if he was quicker, he would have taken that to the crib. Right now, we are flying down this field, and I'm loving every second of it as I keep making the right reads. But now that we find ourselves on a 3rd down, I kind of want to just run with Taven Jackson, and that's going to lead to a touchdown. The freshman quarterback got it done, but now I have to save Iowa's offense, so this could be trouble. Cade McNamara is out for the year with an injury, so I have to use backup quarterback Deacon Hill, and we can't use our defense to score a touchdown, so it's going to be hard to be successful in this video, but I'm going to take our check down to All Jr., and he has 63 speed, by the way. He sure doesn't run like it, but I wasn't kidding. But I only know that because I've passed up on using him in previous videos, and I think I'm about to take a sack, except Deacon Hill somehow got out of there. He fumbles it, we pick it up with the offensive lineman, and that's a massive play. We should not have gotten a first down out of it, but I'm not going to complain as now we're going to feed it to Caleb Johnson, and we should probably just let him go to work as I'm going to give it back to him. This time he needs to outrun the defensive end, and he couldn't. We've already gotten farther down the field than I thought we would with Iowa's offense, but now we need Luke Lakey to hold on to this ball, and that's a touchdown. We have somehow done the impossible with the Hawkeyes, but I can't get too excited because now we have to face their defense. Rocco Becht is going to have a tough task today, and I don't know how good of a quarterback he is. I've never even heard of his name, but he seemed to be decently quick, and we're going to have to always take that corner route to the tight end. We just need to continue to make this smart read, and I will have to check it down against Iowa, but we're having a little bit of success so far, and on 3rd and 2, after only getting 1 yard on the last play, we were able to pick it up, and I might just continue to go back to this drag route over and over. It seems like the less deep shots I try, the more success we have on offense, but we're going to go with the crosser now, and the throw is so off target, and that's unfortunate because it would have gotten us a lot farther down the field, but maybe we'll get lucky on this play and they won't guard the halfback. I see him open on that side, and we get another big gain, and now they're going with more man-to-man coverage, so I'm going to look in Daniel Jackson's direction, but I had to come back to the ball. This might be the longest drive we've had in this entire video, but someone is wide open, and I just couldn't get it out in time, but we are going to make it to 4th and inches, and there's no reason we should risk trying to pass the ball. I might as well attempt a read option for the first time, and that's going to get us a touchdown. So Rocco Becht actually was able to score on Iowa, and James Madison is so underrated. I'm pretty sure as I'm recording this, they're still undefeated, and Jordan McLeod is a good quarterback, so I'm not worried about going against this Iowa State defense. defense because he can make plays with his legs. I doubt they have him at a high overall on this roster, but I still trust him to get the job done, and that was almost picked off. We just dodged a bullet. That was so close, but they did not keep up with number 19. I have no clue who Hudson is, but he is going to run right by the Cyclones defense, and it's about time that we had another breakaway play. We're getting ourselves back on pace to score 100 touchdowns, but we have to finish these next 2 drives off, and I don't know what Jalen Daniels was doing right there, but that was a terrible throw from him, so it's already going to be 3rd down. We might as well mix in a little bit of a halfback screen as well, this one going to Devin Neal, who is going to outrun that defensive end but not get the first, and I can't believe it's already 4th and 1, but Luke Grimm should hold on to this ball off of the corner route, and we're going to see if the quarterback run could work, as Jalen Daniels is going to have one man to beat. Hopefully he has the speed to get around to the edge, and I think he might take this to the house. Is this our first or second big rushing touchdown? I feel like that doesn't happen very much with quarterbacks, but now all we need is Will Howard to have success against his rivals, and I wish we could use freshman quarterback Avery Johnson, who rushed for 5 touchdowns, but he is not their starter, so we can't. Will Howard should still be able to get it done, but I wanted to use a run-heavy QB, and I haven't called many 4 vertical plays in this video, but I'm going to give it a shot here, and I think we're going to have number 34 up the seam. Is this a fullback? I'm not sure, but he is going to go all the way to the crib. Ben Sinnott just fought so hard to get that touchdown, and after scoring on 14 of our last 15 drives, we're officially back on pace to score 100 touchdowns, but we have to use Kent State's Chandler Garbin, and this offense is absolutely atrocious. Please don't pick that. That was a close call, and this is a 68 overall team, so I'm not sure how we're going to do it, but at least we're getting about 15, and we might as well see if Chandler Garbin is quick, but they blew up that read option, and he somehow still got a few. I have a feeling they're about to drop back in coverage here, so there's nothing open deep, and we have to go to an underneath route, but we only gained a yard, so that didn't help us too much, and this slant might be picked off. It is 4th and 5, and we have somebody open over the middle. He holds on to the ball, but I was very worried that Trayman Eccles was going to drop it, and he's been our most consistent receiver, so I'll find him again. I don't even mean to keep looking in his direction, but it's working out for us, and I should have not tried to scramble here. I should have taken the drag. That's going to lead to a sack and a fumble. Pick it up. 3rd and 15 is not looking too pretty for us, but we might have our tight end, and Holmes holds on to the football, so we have kept it alive, and this is man-to-man coverage, which means that out route should be open. It certainly was not run well, but at least it still worked in our favor, and that's a laser, but our most consistent receiver dropped it, and if we can't score on this drive, that is going to come back to bite us, but we're going to find him again to build up his confidence, and we've already thrown the ball 11 times. I cannot believe it. That's going to make it 12, but he didn't get the first down, so it is 4th and 1, and I just have to hike it, go over to our running back. Please stay in bounds. Why are you running that way? Oh my gosh, how did he get it? I don't know how this drive has stayed alive, but we just got to go with some quarterback wraps, and we're so close to finishing off the job, but it's so difficult to do so unless Garbin just runs in. We have scored on Kansas State's defense, and we're on a roll as that's 8 touchdowns in a row, with a 9th one hopefully coming from Devin Leary, as we're going to find Ray Davis on the first play, and I'm so glad to be using my favorite team. Since our season's starting to go to crap in real life, I just have to live out our success inside NCAA football, and Kent State is a super easy defensive opponent, so we might as well let Ray Davis go to work, and maybe not. Devin Leary has certainly been inaccurate for the Wildcats this year, but at least in NCAA football, that is not true. Bates is going to juke him out and get down to the 10, and I just have to take care of business with a couple more plays. Going to roll out, make a nice little throw, and that was almost picked. My heart dropped for a split second, but it worked out, and this could be where our streak of success comes to an end. I have no idea who Ben Woolridge is, but he's going to have to score on my Wildcats defense, and he somehow has gotten a massive run to start it out. I have no idea if his arm talent is as good as his rushing ability is, but we have Harvey Broussard, and he's going to go to the red zone. The first 2 plays have both been very explosive, and we might as well just try to thread the needle on this one as well. So Ben Woolridge has picked apart my Wildcats defense like Georgia did, but I was forced to keep it on that read option, so we didn't use our running back, and now it's 3rd and goal. We have come so far down the field. To fail now would be such a disappointment. Washington's going to have to fight for it though, and I think I'm going to go back to him no matter what on this angle route, but he has to hold on, and he doesn't. This is the first drive we failed in 10 attempts, and I was hoping our streak would never end. It's unfortunate, but now we're using Hank Bankmere, and he is going to have the drag open underneath just to start us out, and Louisiana is our rival, so we're going up against a pretty evenly matched opponent as we're going to now go deep to Maxwell. What a big gain that was, and he spun out of it. We're going to get the perfect block, and this is an amazing play. Kyle Maxwell was about to get wrapped up, but he got out of there instead, and that was exactly what we needed, because now we get to use Jack Plummer and the Louisville offense, who has Jamari Thrash, and he's been a great transfer for them. If we want to try to beat them over the top, he would be our go-to guy, but they're sticking with him pretty well, so we're just going to float it over to Bell instead, and my confidence is so high after that touchdown with Louisiana Tech that we're just going to keep slinging it over the middle to Coleman, and I'm going to be looking up the seam on the next play to one of our tight ends with lifts and getting open. 4 straight successful plays, and we're going to cap it off with a 5th one. So scoring a touchdown was not difficult, and we should be able to do the exact same thing with Jaden Daniels. I know he's quick, so we'll be able to scramble, but they're sacking us instantly, and I didn't think they were going to send a blitz on that first play because that caught me completely off guard, but we're still going to pick up the first down. On the next play, we'd take a sack for a few yards, but I think it'll be okay if we can go over the middle, and there was plenty of space for Brian Thomas Jr. So right now, Jaden Daniels is 2 for 2, and if we go for another big pass here, he'll be 3 for 3, but that was almost played by that DB. I did not realize how risky that throw was, and now that one was off target, but we're going to get a bailout penalty because the ref called pass interference, and that's clutch for us because I did not want to have to face a 3rd and 10, and now we're inside the 5-yard line. To be honest, I'll probably just scramble up the middle with Jaden Daniels, but they send a blitz instead, and I should have just made a read. Now we need to roll out and try to take this corner route, which we're going to get. Aaron Anderson came away with the touchdown grab, but Marshall's going to have a hard time doing the same thing. This is one of those drives that I know is going to be tough, and Cam Fancher is in at quarterback, so I have no clue who he is, but he needs to throw some dots. I never enjoy using a lefty on this game, but he did complete his first pass and his second as well, so he doesn't seem to be terrible, and if they're not going to guard that corner route, I'm going to have to take it for a second time. We're almost moving down the field effortlessly. Up the seam is going to be another big gain, but our tight end couldn't hold on to it, and that's very unfortunate. Now it seems like they might want to send a blitz at us, so we're going to try to go over their linebackers, and McMillan comes away with the football. This LSU defense is not playing the way that they need to. I might have had one of the slants, but I didn't want to take it, and I took a sack instead. I don't like having to make a read down on the goal line because it's so tight, and I might look for Conley on that hitch if he gets open, but he doesn't, so we're going to have to go to the running back instead, and he's marked short. Our best option on 4th and goal is probably the quarterback sneak. He needs to get in though, and somehow he was able to fight his way in. That sets us up nicely for this drive with Talia Tagovailoa, and Tua's brother is not a lefty like Tua is. He throws with his right hand, which makes my life a lot easier. We're already getting a big gain on this Marshall defense, and I want to go with the wheel route on this play, which should not be picked, but that ball probably needed a bit more zip on it, and I don't know if anything's going to get open besides Deshaun Jones. I didn't even want to throw that ball, but I felt like we had no choice in the end, and I shouldn't be looking for the deep route, but I am, as we're going to roll out and find him for another gain, and we're already down inside the red zone, which I hate the most, but Deitches is going to get us to the 1, and you know what time it is for the next few plays. Come on, Talia. You got about halfway there. Now you just need a couple more yards, but it's 4th and goal, so it all comes down to this one, and he gets it. We have been cutting it way too close, but I've been impressed with how I've been playing recently, and we'll see what Seth Hennigan can do with this Memphis offense. I don't know if much is open here, so taking the sack is probably the best option because I was about to throw it into an interception, and we didn't get as many yards back as I would have liked there, but I'm going to have to just try to go deep, and that is put perfectly on the money, but it's not going to matter because it just dropped right out of his hands. I'm going to try to throw to the right side of the field on this 4th and 18. It's very long, but we had enough time for it to develop, and we somehow got it. So that was a miraculous conversion, but they're ready for the read option. All of our yards have to come from Seth Hennigan, so I couldn't give it to the running back in that situation, and we're on a 3rd and 14 where I don't know if we're going to have anything. I really don't like this type of throw, but we're still going to make it, and I'm surprised that that DB in the area did not jump on that football, but now the confidence is just through the roof. I can't remember the last time that I made a terrible mistake, and that ball is dropped by Taylor again, so I'm just done throwing it to him. I would much rather throw it to anybody else, and all of a sudden we are on a 3rd and 10 where Watson is being kept up with by that defensive lineman, so we need a miracle on another 4th and long, and I think we have the crossing route, but is he going to get far enough? He drops it. Memphis receivers just didn't want to win on this drive, and someone needs to get Seth Hennigan some help. As for Miami's quarterback, it is Tyler Van Dyke, and we might as well just scramble for a first down if it's possible, and I might need to slide, but who really cares? He's a big guy, so he can take it, and he got us a few extra yards. Now we're finding Xavier Restrepo, and with a little bit of trickery, we are going to go with the halfback screen, but it wasn't as slick as I thought it was, and I think we're going to have Xavier Restrepo over the middle again. This time he's going to put us into the red zone, and we can't afford to fail 2 drives in a row, so we need to make sure that we're able to finish this one off, and that's not happening here. On 2nd and 10, I'm going to look for number 4 again in the back of the end zone. This time Young will hold on, and thankfully we got the touchdown. So we've scored on exactly 80% of our drives, but Brett Gabbert has a challenge coming up going against Miami as he is with Miami, Ohio, the worser of the two, and I don't know why we're mixing in so much play action. We can't even run the ball, and that should have been a touchdown. I saw it a second too late, but now it's 3rd and 10, and that ball is dropped. So we're facing a 4th and long where we might not complete a pass, and I didn't even have a chance to get a throw out there. So much for all the success we were having. We've gone right back to struggling, but now we get to use JJ McCarthy in Michigan against the Redhawks defense, so I'm expecting an easy touchdown, and we're going to find Tyler Morris, who has nobody near him, and that is the easiest first play we've had. That means we're sitting at 45 for 57, but Noah Kim has a tough task because he has to score on the Wolverines, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to pull it off with him or not. I might as as well just try to go to Carter underneath, and he drops it. 3rd and 13 already. We are now going with the halfback screen for a loss of yards is what it seems like. And this fall off has not been fun. We have to pick up this 4th and 14. I don't know if there's enough separation there, and there isn't. Michigan's defense just clamped us up, and now we need Middle Tennessee State to have success. Nicholas Vitito, if that's how you say his name, is Middle Tennessee State's quarterback, and he is already going to throw almost a pick. But Michigan State wasn't able to hold on to it, and their man-to-man coverage is all over us. We need to somehow break the sack, and I'm just going to throw up a prayer, which is just going to get knocked to the ground. I don't know what has happened to us recently, but thankfully we finally had someone break the press, and it was such a bad throw that should have been intercepted. 4th and 10 now. I'm not sure if Justin Olson's going to get open over the middle, but I stared down his route and I had to take it. I feel like we need to try to mix in the run just to have a little bit more success on offense with Nicholas, and we will see what Vitito can do on this play as he avoids the sack and also gets us another first down. His legs are much better than his arm, but we are going to go for the tight window, and that's a drop again. I have seen way too many in this video, and I'm getting sick of witnessing them, but I'm going to thread the needle, and that throws inaccurate. We are 1 for 6 right now, but we are still not out of it, and I see somebody that's going to get open, but I had no time. It is 4th and 13. We have to pass the ball, and I think that's going to get open, but they had somebody sitting right there. I didn't even see him, and to be honest, that was probably the best read I could make because the right side of the field was clamped up. It happened so quick, but we're no longer on pace to score 100 touchdowns, and Ethan Kalikmanis, if that's how you say his name right, has already broken 1 sack. We just got started, but somebody's open and he couldn't throw it. I tried to make sure that he would set his feet, but instead he did that, and we just missed out on a free touchdown early on in a game that we are desperately needing to win. I can't believe he was able to escape that pocket though and get the first. Okay, maybe not. He didn't move the chains. It is still a 3rd and inches, but we are very close and that will seal it. So it's worked out for us, and if either of these Minnesota receivers could break the press, we should have a touchdown, but it's a bad throw. I definitely missed the times where we were flying down the field. Everything seems so easy for us. And now against teams like Middle Tennessee State, we have to work super hard just to score. But this play had somebody open deep early on in the game that we didn't take the first time, so I ran it again, and he wasn't there this time. Great. We also have a tired quarterback, so that's a little scary, but up the seam, I see number 7, and Ottman Bell is going to take it in. I am so glad that I was able to see that because we desperately needed that touchdown, and Will Rogers should be able to put something together against this Minnesota defense as we are already past midfield. I've watched him play in person before against Kentucky, and he threw the ball like 40 times, so I know that he's capable of it, and I have the utmost confidence in him to get us back in a rhythm as we're going with another halfback angle route. I will keep feeding our running backs if they don't know how to stop them, and on this halfback screen, there's one guy for Marks to beat, and he couldn't beat him. I thought he might get the edge there, but he wasn't able to, and I saw the slant very late, so we're very fortunate that it was not intercepted. Now I'm going to try to throw that little hitch. It's deflected, and it's now dropped. That was honestly terrible football, but we still need to get into the end zone, and we finally do. Hopefully we're getting back in a rhythm, and I don't think we're going to struggle using Missouri because they have Brady Cook at quarterback and Luther Burden III at wide receiver, who's one of the best in the country. I'm going to look in his direction on that right side of the field, and they have multiple players over there, so we're going to take the slant instead. Weeze Jr. actually got out of there as well, so he has both of our catches, which is fine by me. He is not getting open on this play though, and Mookie Cooper just did, so he's going to get it to about the red zone, but not quite because we couldn't get it past the 20, and Luther Burden III's getting swarmed. I keep looking in his direction to throw it to him, but they have covered him all day, so we're going to have to go to our tight end, and at least we still scored a touchdown because I don't think we're going to in this next one. Navy is the last military school that we're going to have to use, but before we start that offensive drive, a word from today's video sponsor, Prize Picks. With football going on, this is the best time to get the app, and you can play in over 30 states, so there's a good chance yours is eligible. Anyway, you're probably wondering what Prize Picks is, and on there you simply pick 2 to 6 players and higher or lower on their projections, but what's so neat about it is you can win up to 25 times the money if you're right, but you could also go with smaller entries like these, which still pay out well. If you want some free cash to get started with on Prize Picks, code BORDER, the first link in my description, will double your initial deposit up to $100, but now we're going to try to score with Navy, and Ty Lavatai is not used to having to throw the football. He would much rather run it instead, so I should honestly probably just roll out with him, but they're already sending a blitz his way, and he broke that sack. He's going to get around, and I should have thrown it away. I thought I was going to be able to run it to the other side of the field. Now we're going with the halfback screen, and I don't think this could be going any worse for us. It is 4th and 22, and I'm not sure if I'm even going to have enough time to get this throw off, but we do, and it is dropped by Williams. Like I said, I expected we were going to fail this drive. We're midway through this thing, and we only have 48 touchdowns, so we're going to have to perform better in the second half of the video, and that all starts with MJ Morris. On this 2nd and inches, I'm going to try to go deep, but I shouldn't have done that, except maybe it's actually going to work in our favor as Square got open late, and I'm expecting us to cruise down the field against Navy's defense as we are already down to their 10. Whenever we have these lopsided matchups, I just have to make sure that we take care care of business, and I have no idea how I'm going to do with Nebraska. I'm pretty sure Jeff Sims got benched, so Henrich Harburg is in the game, and he is already going to find the tight end on the crossing route. But if you've ever watched Nebraska play football, you know that they struggle when they really shouldn't, and we just keep dotting up. I'm expecting a fumble or something we're not going to like coming shortly, but I do see that route over the middle, and how on earth did that just get intercepted? All 84 had to do was keep his inside leverage, but instead he went around the defender, and I'm so frustrated with how things have gone recently, but we need to get back into a rhythm with Brendan Lewis, and Nevada has not had a good season, so I'm not sure how that's going to go. He does seem to have some scrambling legs on him as he's got us to midfield, but apparently Nebraska recovered this fumble, and I don't even want to talk about it. New Mexico's even worse, so this could go bad, and of our last 60 drives, we have to score 51 touchdowns, so I'm feeling a bit hopeless of hitting 100. Dylan Hopkins is in at quarterback, and he is going to just take the halfback angle route, but we need to keep up this momentum of completing passes, and I'm going to try to go deep to DJ Washington. I didn't even see that other player, but he's able to break free, get out of there, and I think he's going to take this one to the house. We are so fortunate that number 8 didn't put his hands up here, and now we get one that's pretty much a freebie, which we really need because we've only scored on half of our last 12 drives, and I'm just glad we have Drake May out there now, who doesn't have the halfback like I was going to throw to, so we're just going to scramble for the first instead. I decided to slide to avoid fumbling it like we did when we played Nebraska with Nevada, and now we're just going to go to JJ Jones to the 40. But one thing I have not tried recently is beating a defense over top, and that's what we're going with. That corner stuck with him decently well, but not good enough. Drake May put it right where it needed to be, and I hope his defense isn't as good as his offense is. I'm not sure if we can pull this off with North Texas, but maybe Chandler Rogers is just him and he has that dog inside him, but that doesn't seem to be the case so far, as he's already taken a sack, and that was thrown to the wrong receiver. It almost worked in our favor, but it is already 3rd and 18, and this is tough, but we are on a 4th and 18 now where I don't think we're going to pick it up. All I can really do is try to throw this ball deep, and we're not coming back to it. I can only fail to score on 8 more total drives, and we still have like 65 teams left or something, so I'm about to have to clutch up very hard. That is not what you want to see from Rocky Lombardi to start it out, and we're also dropping it now, so it is 3rd and 17 where I'm just going to try to go deep. I saw that number 1 ran right by him, and he drops it too. I feel like I have run out of luck, but we're going for the long 4th down, and we are actually going to convert it to Patterson, so the good old out route never fails us, and now on that tight end corner route, we're going straight to Chris Carter. We were so close to failing yet again, but now we are starting to move the ball, and I am throwing it on the inside to Patterson again, who evidently is a monster and deserves to get the ball more, but nothing is open on this one, and I don't know why we keep coming out in these goal line sets, but we're going to go to our tight end, and we need Davis Patterson back out there on the field immediately because he's the only one that knows how to catch, and there he does it again. I wasn't sure if that was going to work out, but he was the only player I felt comfortable going to, and Northwestern is somehow worse than the Huskies. I don't know how we're going to get to 100 touchdowns, but I know we're going to need to go on a run to do so, and Ben Bryant on this first drive is just going to check it down to Cam Porter. Because I haven't been playing well recently, I'm so nervous of throwing another pick, but we should probably start attacking the seam up the middle, and I see a deep route on the right side of the field, so we're going to Johnson, who gets us to the 7. I did not think Ben Bryant was going to lead us down the field this easily, but we'll definitely take the touchdown, and now we have it a little bit easier. I'm expecting Sam Hartman to tear apart this Husky defense, and we are going over the top to Chris Tyree if they're going to press us, which I don't know why we did. He's a short player, converted from a running back to a wide receiver, but he mossed their best corner, and I'll take that all day. I'm a bit nervous throwing a wide receiver screen because they rarely work, but 5 yards is a sizable gain, and now we're going over to Merriweather, who gets us to the 10. There is zero room for error when you're facing off against a team like Northwestern with Notre Dame, and I highly doubt they're going to try to stop Sam Hartman on the read option, so we'll get in. That's nice and all, but our next drive is going to be tough because the Irish have one of the best defenses in the country, and I doubt Cordis Rourke knows what he is getting into, but we're just very lucky that that was not intercepted. That could have been it right there, and I think we're going to have somebody open actually, but I don't know how far we're going to get. I'm so nervous slinging it against the Irish. I really don't know what I should take besides underneath routes to cross, and what a play from him. Surprisingly, we're not doing too bad, and now I went with a little bit of a play action fake, but I don't like anything out there. So maybe we should try and see if a halfback screen can get us somewhere, and there could be some blocks here, but I juked the wrong way, and I'm now just glitched out. That was hard to witness, but they went with man-to-man coverage, and we should always have our tight end in that situation, so I'm going to continue to look in his direction, and he just toasted that corner again. If we have to run a corner route or an out route to that side of the field 5 times, I will do it to score a touchdown, and we actually pulled it off against Notre Dame. I'm pumped up because the Bobcats are not stopping Marvin Harrison Jr., so Kyle McCord could honestly go for the touchdown on this first play, but instead we'll get to midfield. I was waiting for them to do something stupid like press us, and they really pressed Marvin Harrison Jr. There is no way number 7 makes a play here. Come on, he just mossed you. You might say that's a bit risky, but look at the size difference in this situation, and we're not risking Kyle McCord making a mistake. The issue is now we have to score on the Buckeyes defense, but we're lucky to have Dylan Gabriel for that because it should make it easy, except that first play just went backwards because it was a wide receiver screen, and that's why I don't run those. They're continuing to press our receivers, and I'm not going to try to go deep again, but we are going to have somebody wide open. It is Andrew Anthony, and I still can't believe that Kansas was able to beat this Oklahoma team, but we are going to have Stogner, and he just got so much separation from 33 that we're down to the 5. This is a Dylan Gabriel masterclass as we've already scored, and Andrew Anthony bounced back from that terrible start. I'm liking that all of these recent teams are pretty even on paper, but to score a touchdown on the Sooners on the first drive with Alan Bowman, it's still going to be a bit of a struggle, and I already see somebody deep. That is a big gain. I did not expect him to make that throw without setting his feet, but I'm not going to complain about it, and Green just broke that tackle, so these Oklahoma State players really won it in the Bedlam series, and we're going to get another first down. Whenever I get into this type of rhythm, that's when I feel like I'm really cruising as we're 4 for 4, and if we can have a good play here, we might have a perfect drive as that's going to go to Stribling, who is going to just fight his way over the end zone line. He had to work hard, but he made sure that he extended his arm, and now we only have 50 quarterbacks remaining, but since we only have 58 touchdowns, we need to score 42 in these last games, and I know we're on like a 7-drive streak right now, but I'm expecting Grant Wilson from Old Dominion to struggle as he is so slow. Just slide. I will not be able to use his legs to pick up any extra yards. It's all going to be based on if I can make a read or not, and I'm going to run that same play flip to see if they can stop it or not, as that crosser is still getting open over the middle. We are marching down the field effortlessly right now, and I think that linebacker is going to play square, but I still have to try to throw it, and Williams holds onto it, and I honestly cannot remember the last time I threw an incompletion, but it's probably coming on this play. I'm going to try the read option, but I don't think it's going to work out for us, and on 3rd and goal, I'm going to make the quick read to the tight end, so we've somehow come away with the touchdown, and I love a good easy matchup. I will be so disappointed if Jackson Dart can't throw for a touchdown here, and he already got a 6-yard gain on his first play. Now we're going to try to go deep, but he did not get the ball out in time, so we are on a 3rd and 6, and Old Dominion's really locking up. I cannot believe it is 4th down, but they ran with man-to-man coverage, so Watkins was able to beat that cornerback and get around him, which thankfully kept this drive alive for the time being, and I really got to stop with those wide receiver screens because they're not working out for us, and I think the wheel route's going to get open or not. We're lucky it was just swatted away, but it's 3rd and 10, so we have to pick this up, and Trey Harris held on to the football. I'm going to see the comeback route on that side of the field and throw it over there, but the pressure is still on because it would be embarrassing to fail scoring a touchdown, and if we're ever going to go with the halfback screen, now would be the time because Quinton Judkins is just too good. We've now been successful on 9 drives in a row, and I needed a run like that so bad, but I don't think it's going to end anytime soon here with Bo Nix. Bucky Irving gets a few, and I highly doubt they're going to be able to stop Troy Franklin, so I'm going to look in his direction for our next first down. They're welcome to try and press him as well, but that did not work out, and I have just floated it up perfectly. He is going to run with it, and that's another touchdown. I don't know what Ole Miss was doing on defense, but our streak of success has stayed alive, but DJ Ugalele is going to have to keep it alive, and if I look over to the sidelines, I had somebody, but he's already been inaccurate once, so that does concern me a little bit, except we do get a first down somehow. They're also pressing us, and Irish seemed to be a very good receiver, so I'm going to throw it up to him. Is he fast enough to cook number 33? Yes, he is. We are on a roll, and on the read option, DJ Ugalele dives in, so I don't see us getting stopped anytime soon. All of the teams in the recent matchups have been pretty even, but Drew Aller's going to have to actually throw the ball instead of just handing it off, and he's already getting pressure in on him, but he has avoided the sack, and that was a beautiful play if Lambert Smith held on. That's his best wide receiver, so that drop is disappointing, but I'm going to give him another chance to make up for it, and we are going to run the exact same play, but this time the drag underneath is going to be what we go to instead. That also looked like it could have been a face mask penalty, but they didn't call it, and I don't know why nobody's over on Cephas. They don't want to guard him, but I need to make sure that our streak stays alive, and we're going right back to Lambert Smith on the sidelines. This would be our 12th drive in a row where we've scored a touchdown if this slant ends up getting us in, but it doesn't. So now is when I wish we could run the tush push in NCAA football, and somehow Drew Aller was able to get the ball across the line on this play. Facing the Nittany Lions defense could be a problem though, because Pitt has not been good in real life, and I don't know who Christian V. Lux is, but he's going to have to get the job done for us. I thought Phil Jerkovich was their guy, but not according to these rosters, and we're going to go for the wheel route, which they almost picked. Wait, we caught it. Luck is not normally on our side, but it definitely has been recently, and I just need to score on this first drive in the Keystone Classic. I'm going to take our check down just so we can get a few yards. That works out, but I'm so surprised that we still held on to that football earlier on that bounced off of the defender, and we're going back to Means. His awareness has to be through the roof, and we haven't done a 4 verticals in a minute, but we finally got an inaccurate throw, so I'm going to go back to the drag, and that is 2. We still have a lot of yards to get on this 3rd and 10. I don't know if I have the legs to run around and go for it, but I tried to pull it off anyways, and I have a feeling I might regret that. We're going for the cover 2 beater, and they knock it away. We had somebody wide open, but the ball was not properly placed, and it's so disappointing that our streak has finally been snapped. Because of our 44 remaining drives, we only have room for error on 7 of them. Hudson Card was clearly feeling the pressure there. Now we're going to feed it to Devin Mockabee, who gets almost nowhere, and this is not the type of start you want to see on this drive, but we do get the first down. I wasn't sure if we were going to get that open look or not, but I was going to take it no matter what, so I'm glad that we did. And if this route from triangle is run right, it's going to be wide open, but it's not, so I'm going to throw it into that tight window instead. Considering we just failed to score on a drive, I should not be playing the way that I am, but I'm still pretty confident that as of right now, I'm going to make the right read most of the time, and there's no way that they stick with Hudson Card on this read option. He faked them all out. Just slide down, buddy. That might be our go-to plan to get into the end zone, as we're getting another 4 or 5, and he's in. Hudson Card made it so Purdue's touchdown wasn't too hard, and now we get to use a former high school legend. JT Daniels has transferred like 3 or 4 times, but he has ended up at Rice after playing for teams like USC, and even though his team around him isn't the best, I'm expecting that we are going to have success. I'm going to run that exact play back because it should have resulted in a first down, and you know what? Let's try the deep post to Luke McCaffrey, but maybe I got a little bit too ahead of myself there, and we're going back in his direction. I can't remember who he used to play for, but he was also good at a Big Ten school, and that's going to be a 50-50 ball. I'm so glad he came down with it because it wasn't a good throw or a good read. That'll get us to the 4, and if he wouldn't have run backwards, we would have scored a touchdown, but it is what it is. We'll score here instead. JT Daniels did a fantastic job, and Rutgers isn't as bad as they've been in the past, so I'm feeling decently confident in Gavin Wimsett leading us down the field against the Rice defense. We're going to need some bigger gains than a yard, but I see the curl route open, and I just hit the wrong button, but it worked out in the end, so we are very fortunate right now. But you know what? We're just going to keep feeding our running back, and this is his biggest gain yet. The entire Rice defense should be focused on stopping him so we can get a few with the read option. And if you all destroy the like button on this video, I might do this with scoring a touchdown with every single halfback, so that would have to come in the near future, and we got a big gain again. I didn't think Samuel Brown V was going to get us that far, but it seems like I have a lot of time. I missed the curl route. Now I'm going to roll around and hope for a play. I had someone that wasn't open there, and I'm lucky that I saw that cornerback just hiding behind our receiver. I almost threw it anyway, but I remembered he was over there. Now we're going to have to take our curl route, and this 3rd and 2, they're going to leave the flat open. I was ready for it, but it seemed like we were short of the marker, so I'm not sure how we got that lucky, as that's now our first missed throw. We were so close to being successful on yet another drive, but instead we're going to have to miss another, and we cannot afford to fail to score against Rice. That wouldn't be good news for us, so we have to do it here. Thankfully, that one was finally on target, and San Diego State's a 79 overall, just like Rutgers, so Jalen Maiden has the chance to get us one step closer to 100 touchdowns, and I should not have tried to throw up that ball. I thought we might have had them beat speed-wise, but it ended up being a terrible decision, and from now on, we should just play it a little bit smarter, as we've had 2 angle routes, but San Diego State was ready for that one, and I do not like having to beat man coverage this much. I'm hoping for zone here, as I have somebody going up the seam, and I expect him to outrun number 6. He is bigger, so he could still go up for it, and you can't say that I stopped taking risks, because I've already taken a few, and neither one has worked out for us. We're stumbling, and I'm sick of having to throw those curl routes. I want to go deep over the middle, and that's what we are finally able to do. It took 3 attempts, but the 3rd time was the charm, and again, everybody is just so even. San Jose State's also a 79 overall, but they have an even better quarterback, as I think Chevin Cordero's an 85 overall, so he should be able to get this done, and that was almost picked. We're very lucky that it was just swatted to the ground. Now we have to pick up the first down to Miller, and I might as well try a 4 verticals play where we might have them beat deep if this ball is put in the right spot, but it was definitely underthrown, and I've come very close to throwing a lot of interceptions recently, so we're lucky I haven't, as that is a nice one. I knew where I wanted to go and I lasered it up the middle, but I still wasn't sure if that would be enough, and now we're going on the deep post to Nash, another big gain from him, which means we only need about 5 more yards, and we get it. That's 5 drives with a touchdown in a row, and I expect that I'll also have success with SMU. Preston Stone always does well in the Dynasty Sims I have, so surely with me controlling him, he will do even better as we're past midfield, and I might take this flat route if I can throw it soon enough over to Bailey, who gets another catch. Now we're going to go with the option run, and there's no way that they were sticking with him. We get the first, and I like how quickly and composed we're moving down the field. There's not been any mistakes so far, except that was almost a sack, and we did get it. I thought about making a last-second read, but I didn't want to throw an interception like I have on previous drives, and we're not going anywhere with Knighton. 3rd and 14 is a little bit scary, but I trust that we'll be able to pick it up, and I probably shouldn't have gone for the underneath route. Now we need something big here, and there might have been something on the deep shot. I am just going to have to run and throw it on the run, and that's it. When I look back at this play, the only thing that they didn't guard perfectly was that wheel route going deep, and I simply didn't see it, so that's on me. South Alabama's quarterback is Carter Bradley, and I don't think we're going to have anything on this first play, but we cannot start failing drive after drive. We need to have some success, and I saw triangle late. It's going to be dropped, and to be honest, that could have been 10 times worse. I'm I'm going to try to throw this out route, and we drop it too. So it's 4th and 22. They have sent a blitz in our direction, and we're going over the middle, which is somehow going to be caught by Lacey. Why does he seem like he has a speed boost? This guy might be the quickest player I've ever seen. What on earth? Callan Lacey just had the craziest play I've ever had on this game. I have never seen someone accelerate in that fashion to get to the ball, but he just pulled it away all of a sudden. And I don't know if it was because of the click on or what, but he just glided past everybody. That was legitimately one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And I play this game way too much, so whenever I say that, you know it means something. But I gotta focus up because we cannot afford to not have success with Spencer Rattler. And we all know that Amarian Brown has 94 speed, so I will be looking in his direction later on this drive. But at least for now, we just need to make sure we get the first down. And this would be the play where I want to test out his speed. We're gonna go deep. Can the South Alabama corner keep up? Yes, he can. That was very disappointing, but maybe the second time's the charm, and if they stick with him, we're gonna have the post over the middle. Wells Jr. comes away with it, and this is gonna be a massive gain for us. We need one block, and we don't get it. Man, we are starting to fly down the field. Now with Spencer, I actually want to just try to scramble with him, and they were ready for it, so we should probably go back to passing, and there's our Marion Brown. That touchdown right there means we're 70 for 90, and of these last 36 drives, we can only mess up 6 times. My goal was 100 touchdowns, so I'm going to do everything I can in my power to make that happen. Billy Wiles is not a fast quarterback, but he is going to find Caston, and unfortunately for us, it's going to be hard to get Frank Gore Jr. involved, as he is just going to get a couple. He's the best player on this offense by a very large margin, and I'm pretty sure Southern Miss is like 1-7 in real life, so they're not good. If we're going to have success against an SEC defense, though, South Carolina's a decent option because theirs is not the toughest in the world, and we have the seam up the middle, which we're going to hang on to. It's taken going 6 for 6 so far, but we are having success against the Gamecocks, and it's no longer Cocktober, so they're going to have a hard time stopping Wiles as he runs it to the 2. It might be in our best interest to try to QB sneak it 4 times, but instead I'm going to look for Frank Gore Jr. on the wheel route, and they were ready for it one time, but I don't think they'll be ready for it again. We're starting to have a lot of successful drives again, but Stanford has the same overall offense as Southern Miss, and Ashton Daniels can only do so much, but our tight end has broken free. This is the best player on the team, and he's going to take it to the red zone. That was massive because I had a feeling that we were going to struggle. Now I see Shield Taylor, and with nobody on him, we might as well just let him go to work on the defense. Southern Miss has not come prepared, but they were ready for this one, and we'll see if the little motion throws them off, as I want to go to the corner route, which is going to get wide open. We're 72 for 92 now, and now we have to take a trip to the Carrier Dome. For the opening play, I'm just going to throw it to LaQuint Allen on the halfback wheel route. He's going to make one guy miss, and he is stumbling for even more yardage. That is exactly what you want to see in that situation, and that was a bad throw. But I trust in Garrett Schrader that he will figure it out as time goes on, and we're just going to have to take this dump off to get it out. Everything's gone through LaQuint Allen so far, but now that they pressed our 2 receivers, I've noticed that no one was open, and maybe I should have kept going through him because now it's 4th and 6. This is a tight one, and we get it. I just had to squeeze it in the hole without them noticing, and now we're going to take the dump off to Mang for about 7. But I'm not sure if I trust the Syracuse receivers to try and throw it deep to them yet, so we're just going to keep going underneath. Maximilian Mang with another big one from him. He's still up. If Stanford's going to refuse to guard it, that's what I'm going to take, and they had someone over the middle there, but we get it to Jones anyway. So I'm lucky that linebacker had 0 awareness, and Garrett Schrader needs to fight for the touchdown. What a run from him that was. And now we get to use an even better offense. TCU's coming off of a national championship appearance, and Chandler Morris wasn't their quarterback for that, but he also isn't terrible. Not only can he pass the ball, but he can also run it, so we're going to try to get him involved today, as he is going to get about 7. And if we could go over the top of this Syracuse defense, that'd be great, but they sent a blitz in at us, and we couldn't get it out in time, so we need to pick up this 3rd and 4 to JP Richardson. And for this next one, I want to try to hit Savion Williams on the deep post. I have to roll out and put this right in the correct spot, and he is not going to make it into the end zone, but he got close enough to where we can punch it in, and now we might have to struggle with Temple. I have no idea who EJ Warner is or how good he is, but on this first play, TCU's defense is leaving the middle wide open, and I was not expecting that. We really can't afford to make any mistakes, and now we have a chance to go deep. This is probably a 50-50 ball that's going to be caught by Wright, and this has to be one of the best Most catches of the video. I love going for those, and in this situation, it should pay off for us, as we surprisingly scored with ease. I'm enjoying how we've played recently, and we just need 25 more touchdowns to hit 100 in this video, and Joe Milton put this ball pretty much out of reach. He's going to have to make some better throws if we're going to score a touchdown, but I don't see anybody open on this one, so I had no choice but to throw it away, and thankfully we are going to pick up the first down. I am a bit salty at Tennessee still because they beat my Wildcats, but it's more important that we score a touchdown with them anyway, and Ramel Caton had a grown man's grab there. He should not have held onto that football, but why is Temple's defensive line so good? Joe Milton III just needs a bit more time back there, and we might as well take our hitch, but that won't won't get the first. So on this 3rd and 5, we're going to need a little bit more. And where is their defense? I just noticed he was wide open, and we've somehow gotten back on pace to hit 100 touchdowns. Now we're just going to need Xavier Worthy to shine, and it'll be on Quinn Ewers to feed him the ball the right way. But for this first one, we're just going to take the check down to Jonte Cook, and I wish he wouldn't have stepped out of bounds there, but it is what it is. That defensive line just got lost, so we could go for the deep post, but maybe that wasn't as open as I thought it was. Somehow it has been marked as a 4th and inches, and I almost just got sacked there. I should have just done a quarterback sneak, but Quinn Ewers is going to be able to rush for it, and Texas has one of the best offenses in NCAA football, so I should not be struggling. All it's going to take is Xavier Worthy beating the press one time, but on the other side of the field, I see somebody that's wide open, and Adonai Mitchell cooked this cornerback. Once again, we have won so many in a row, and because Texas A&M's starting quarterback is injured, they have their backup in Max Johnson, so we're going to have to use a lefty to try and pick up some big plays, but I'm already seeing Stewart, and there's no way that he's going to take this to the crib. Come on, buddy. You've got to go the whole distance. Evan Stewart, with one catch, was able to get Texas A&M a touchdown, and that's needed since this is the next matchup. I'm not saying that I can't score with Texas State, but it's going to be difficult, and we're using quarterback TJ Finley. The only reason I even know of this guy's name is because he played at Auburn before Texas State, and for whatever reason, one of my close friends just rode him. I have no idea why. He isn't any good, but at least at Texas State, he's thriving, and I'm going to be very thankful if we're able to actually score a touchdown on this Texas A&M defense, as he is scrambling for another 5 or 6. TJ Finley has yet to have a bad play, as we are now going to try to take the comeback route, but I spoke that into existence. I shouldn't have jinxed him, and now we take a sack. It is 4th and 13, and it's not TJ Finley's fault that our left guard forgot how to block, but we're going to have to get a big pickup here, and I see that it's cover 2, so I'm finding it. Ashton Hawkins just came away with one of the clutchest catches in this video, and I'm just hoping we can finish this drive eventually. That corner route is not as open as it looked, so it's now 3rd and 11, and I'm going to take the slant, which is going to make it 4th and short. It is all on TJ Finley and how strong he really is, so I'm thankful he was somehow able to pick up that first down, and we should have a touchdown here, which we don't. That was such a bad drop, as it was right in his hands, and now they've sent a blitz at us. So on 3rd and goal, I'm going to look for the hitch, and it's knocked away. Well, all we need is a few yards, and I'm going to try to do it with TJ Finley's legs, but Texas A&M was prepared, and we can only fail on 5 more of these drives. For Texas Tech, they have Tyler Shuck at quarterback, and none of these 3 slants got open, so that's a bit concerning because we are playing against Texas State's defense, and they should not be that good, but as long as we continue to pick up at least a few yards on each play, we should be fine, and that's a massive gain. I like to watch the cornerbacks on the side to see what coverage it is, and Loic Fungi is going to get a 2nd catch in a row for us, so even though he's not one of our best receivers, he's been dominating, and we might as well give him a chance for a 3rd one, which he pulled in almost effortlessly. We needed that one very badly, and Daquan Finn has to somehow get us down the field, but our running back got laid out, so my only read on that play was taken away from me, and this is going to be a tight window, so I probably should have tried to throw the ball elsewhere, but I'm going for the big gains, and this one worked out or not. These Toledo receivers just can't catch the ball, and on 4th and 10, I'm going to mix in a little bit of the play action. We have somebody open over the middle, and it's not going to get there. To be honest, it just wasn't a good read, and we've come so far to mess it up now, but with 25 drives remaining, I can only make 4 more mistakes, and we might as well just take our flat here, which is going to go for a lot more yards than I expected. Gunnar Watson is the quarterback at Troy, and they tried to send in a lot of people at him. This one was almost intercepted, so we are very fortunate that it wasn't, but it's now 3rd and 10, and I'm going to try to squeeze it to Rogers. We are on another 4th down where we might not be able to pick it up, but we do have a receiver. Stoudemire comes away with the football. Thank you, and he broke a tackle. I thought we were about to mess up again, but thankfully we didn't, and if Gunnar Watson has some speed on these legs, he should be able to take this to the crib. 19 is getting close, but he's just going to dive in, and we have scored a touchdown with Troy. Next up on the list is playing with Tulane, and Michael Pratt is at the helm, so I'm expecting us to have success against this defense. The refs are already reviewing a catch though, and it's safe to say that he probably didn't get a foot in. Obviously, they're going to overturn it, and that's a bit frustrating, but we're going to try to hit him with a little bit of trickery, and there's no way that that one defender got over there still. It is 3rd and 10, and we need to take something. I'm looking at the C route to Chris Brazel, which got open, and now that we have a fresh new set of downs, we are back in business. We just got to continue to move it, and I'm going to take the halfback angle route for another 10. So things seem to be going well with Tulane. I see that we have a slant that got naked, and that's going to be an easy pass for us, and hopefully we can reach the end zone, but we didn't, so we're going to have to go with a quarterback run, and Michael Pratt was not being stopped. As for Tulsa, I can't think of a time where I've ever used them, so this is definitely the first time Cardell Williams and their offense has been featured, and Tulane is coming out early with some blitzes, so I'm going to try to take this wheel route to our short receiver, and we got so lucky with this call. I literally ran into the defender myself, but the refs are bailing us out, and that home field advantage is already paying off. Tulane keeps going with press defense and it's working, but I'm determined for us to beat them over the top at least one of these times, and thankfully we finally got Williams for a bit. He stumbled and he got back up from that tackle. That was a miraculous play, and Devin Williams has put us in a great position where Cardell Williams can now run around and not go anywhere. There's a lot of Williams on this offense, and I'm not going to have him open on this one, so that's a bit concerning that we just took that deep sack, but I'm going to try to thread the needle anyway, and we can't. Well, it's 4th and goal, and I have a plan for this play, which is going to be executed perfectly or not. We are dealing with yet another drop, and now we can only fail 3 more times. I want to hit 100 touchdowns so bad, and Jacob Zeno's going to have to do well, but simply judging him after that first pass, this could be a very quick drive, and we got to at least pick up a first down. I see the slant, and that's going to be caught, but it is 4th and 2, and we're going to take the drag, which is going to just get the distance. I'm very thankful that worked out for us, but we have not been in a rhythm as of recently, and it just makes me sick that we continue to struggle to do simple things. It should be no surprise that we're on another 3rd down, and this time I'm going to go to our running back who does hold on, so maybe we should just let Jermaine Brown Jr. go to work, and I'm going to give it to him on this halfback screen, which is going to go for a big gain. He is broken free from the defense. There's one player left, and he just didn't have what it took to get around him, but at least we are now down to the goal line. That's a touchdown. We have made it with TJ Jones, and we should be able to do the same with UCF. John Rice Plumlee is a very good quarterback when he's healthy, and I'm actually going to go to their game this upcoming weekend against Oklahoma State, so I'm hoping that goes well. We're going to take a first down early on to Hudson for at least 15, and I can't believe how much the Knights have struggled in real life. We are going to just go underneath, and this is somehow going to be held on to, which makes no sense considering we've seen so many bad drops throughout this entire video. John Rice Plumlee, 3 for 3 though, is going to get us past midfield. Now he's 4 for 4, and he is putting on a clinic against this UAB defense who doesn't have an answer, but the same guy that pulled off that spectacular catch couldn't pull this in. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. I don't understand why this keeps happening to us, but we should try to take this slant a little bit late, and we're inside the red zone, so hopefully we're going to score. I'm going right back to him, and why did I make that read? There was honestly no reason I should have ever thrown this football, and I'm definitely regretting that one right now, but all I can continue to do is try to have success, and after Moore already threw for a 9-yard pass, he's going to get the first. Dante Moore is only a freshman, so I'm a bit nervous he's going to make some mistakes, and I shouldn't be going for this, but I wanted to anyway, so we're simply lucky it didn't result in an interception, and they've tried to send in a blitz, but I had a wheel route that I knew would be open, so things are going well, and Carson Steele on this halfback screen's getting nowhere, but I still trust in Dante Moore to lead this team down the field, and that slant was almost intercepted. It is 3rd and 13, and this is not man coverage, so I know that we're going to have that over the middle, but it was not as open as I thought it would be, and we're going right back to it with this one resulting in a catch. That was so close to being another failed drive, and I really got to be more careful. Now that they brought that guy down, I'm just going to do that, and to be honest, I have no idea what that was, but we're just fortunate it wasn't a fumble, and we're completing a pass. I am not playing the right way for us to hit 100 touchdowns, so I need to start doing things a bit smarter like that, and this is a challenge to do, so I want all of you all to try it, if you have the game of course, because on Heisman, this is not easy to do, and Dante Moore is exhausted. I shouldn't have done that. I had to call a timeout for him, and that curl route is thankfully going to get us right in, but that drive took us way too long, and this next matchup isn't very favorable. Louisiana Monroe's offense isn't the best, so in order to score with Jaya Wright, I'm going to have to make a lot of the right reads, and that was almost an interception already, so that is not a good sign of what's to come, but we're going to get a big gain to Tolbert. I'm honestly shocked that he was able to come down with that football, but he had a ton of space, and we might as well give him another shot, but it's knocked away. I don't know why I'm trying to take deep shots on UCLA. That is a terrible strategy, and their defensive linemen are not as fast as Wright apparently, but we could only get a few, so it is 3rd and 6, and we're just going to take our simple drag. Jaya Wright's going to need to do something special, and with this ball to Tolbert, it's a tad bit behind him, so we need to see him doing a bit better, and this is man-to-man coverage, so I don't think anything's going to get open. We're going to have to use his legs, and how on earth did he not fumble there? He might only be a 70 overall, but he is a beast, and we're going to see if the play action can fake out the Bruins defense, which it seems like it did. The tight end's open, and that's a touchdown. We were actually able to pull it off, and Jaden Mava is only a freshman, but he is very lucky because he gets to play against this bad Louisiana Monroe defense. I'm fully expecting UNLV to score on this drive, and we're already going to dot them up for 2 passes in a row, so if the Warhawks don't figure out something quickly, they're not going to have a chance at stopping us, and that's exactly what we want to see. What a beast. Shelton Z on the 3rd threw off that tackle like it was nothing, and now McKee's going to get us to the 6th, so we have yet to have a bad play, and this is going to wrap it up. That was a perfect drive, and there will be no excuses if I can't score with USC. Former Heisman winner Caleb Williams is at the helm, and on this first one, we're just going to check it down, but that was almost picked. I understand they're only college players, but I cannot keep dealing with some of the drops drops we've witnessed, and they've certainly caused us to fail drives that we would have had success on otherwise, but that one was fully on me. We're very fortunate it wasn't picked off, and this USC offensive line is just atrocious. UNLV should not be screaming in pressure at us the way that they are, but now that it's 4th and 8, I felt like I had to go with 4 verticals, and Mario Williams is going to find all of the open space to get us to the 21. We were so close to getting stopped by the running Rebels on our home field, and since I'm using Caleb Williams, it makes no sense why I'm struggling. I might as well try to scramble with him, but he gets knocked out. And on 3rd down, I'm just going to go with the drag over the middle, which is going to take us to the 1. It was a lot harder than I expected, but we're going to get in, and we're just 14 touchdowns away from 100. Next up on our list is my city's team, the Bulls, and USF quarterback Byram Brown didn't do terrible against Alabama, so surely we can score on USC. Now, I wasn't expecting to take a sack like that early on, but I'm still confident in our ability to, and it's dropped. So it is 3rd and 25. We have to pick this up, and I might as well just try to roll out and find circle. It was able to get open. Thank goodness Simmons could pull this off, and we are so fortunate we didn't have to try to attempt a 4th and 25, but number 1 burnt the defense and it was underthrown. Byram Brown needs to be able to hit those deep routes, but for now we'll at least go short, and that way we're going to complete some passes over the middle. I'll even hit USC with a wide receiver screen, and that got us a few, but only because Simmons held onto the ball through this brutal tackle. I'm not sure how he was able to do that, but I'm not going to complain. Now we're going to find another receiver. He throws a USC corner off him, and USF has some dogs on this team. I was not expecting us to do this well, but we have gotten down to the 3. All they have to do is bite on the read option. The drive will be over, and that's the case. Byram Brown actually scored, and we've gone on a little bit of a run, which we desperately needed. At quarterback for Utah is Bryson Barnes, and that's who helped them take down USC, even though they don't have Cam Rising. He's just not going to play the rest of the year, so we have to use a backup, and we might as well go with some short throws. I know that USF's defense isn't the best, but I don't want to make Bryson Barnes make any throws that he is not comfortable with, and the fact that it is 4th and 3 is incredibly intimidating, but they went with man-to-man coverage, and look at that route from Kuith. I don't know how to say his name. That was not it, but I've made it too far in the video to start looking up more names on Google Translate, so we're just going to keep on feeding our tight ends, and how did he break that? We need to get our streak up to 6 touchdowns in a row, and we're so close, but that's a sack, so we're going to need a big gain on 2nd and goal, and their tight end is not going to be kept up with. I feel like we finished off a lot of drives like this recently, but the quarterback sneak is a cheat code, and we really need to do the same with the Aggies. Cooper Legis is going to start us out by dumping it off to the halfback on the halfback screen, and that's going to get us at least 5, but unfortunately for us, USC has a very solid defense, so we're probably going to struggle to move the ball. If they're going to press us, I'm going to put some receivers on streaks, but none of them got by the DBs fast enough, so our best option is to just scramble for all of these yards, and so far we have looked pretty good offensively, but there's still a lot of time remaining, and that's another one. Cooper Legis, or however you say his name, is cooking for us, but I don't like that play call because it didn't really go anywhere and we didn't fake him out, but I'm just hoping that DB didn't make a play there, because if he turned his head around, that would have been an interception, and none of our hitches are open until later on in the play where I'm going to throw it off of our back foot, and that ball literally hit him right in the head. We should have gotten in there, but it's fine. We will on a future play, and if that's going to happen, my confidence has to be that high as we're going to go to the flat, and we're not going to make it. If I'm going to resort to something, it is another QB sneak, and I cannot believe it's still working. Also, I have to appreciate that some of these upcoming matchups are very even, because it makes scoring not as difficult, and Gavin Hardison is UTEP's quarterback. We've already gotten a nice first down, and we're going for a second completion in a row to Ballard, who gets us past midfield, and I'm going to continue to try to suck the defense in with some play action where we hit him with a deep bomb instead, and that was off the marks. Our receivers didn't get open anyway, so it was definitely a bit risky, but it's going to work out for us anyway, because Smith is going to spin out of there, and if he would have taken a different angle, he might have had a touchdown. We definitely had that corner route for one, and this should not be this delayed of a play, but that's knocked down. I really messed that one up, but I'm going to see if the corner route gets open again, and I have no time. 3rd and 17 is brutal, but they continue to send blitzes our way, and we know how to handle it. This should honestly be a quarterback sneak situation, but we're going to take the hitch instead, and that was close. It was deeper than normal, and Ballard just didn't turn around for the ball, but we have Hankins on the angle route, and scoring with UTEP wasn't too bad. We are just 10 touchdowns away from hitting 100, but I can only make a couple more mistakes, so Frank Harris needs to have a good drive, and that was a great delayed throw. Believe it or not, the UTSA tight end is an 85 overall, and I almost want to see if he can outrun this corner, but he couldn't, and I am prepared for the blitz on this play, but they sent a weird one. It was out of zone, so we just have to take the check down instead and only get a few. UTSA's playbook is really weird, and I don't like it, but they still have halfback ankle routes, and I don't know why I've been in hurry up mode for this entire drive, but it's been very urgent, and we have moved it well because of it. UTEP's defense hasn't had a chance to catch a breather, and I think it's going to pay off in the end, as we are just getting out of there with Barnes. It was almost intercepted, but fortunately we picked it up, and now I'm going to try a double screen play, see if that works out, and Barnes could finish off the drive with a touchdown. That means we're sitting at 91 1 out of 115, and we're just a tad bit closer to hitting my ultimate goal. AJ Swan for Vanderbilt is in the game. He is now a sophomore. I think he was a freshman last year. He's pretty good, and he follows me on Instagram, so I got nothing but respect for him. We are already going to start off with back-to-back completions, and even though Vanderbilt's offense is only a 79 overall, we're actually doing pretty well, except on this play where we're still going to get the yardage. I can't believe it. If you haven't noticed already, AJ Swan is not a scrambler, but he was able to put something together there, and we are 4 for 4 now. So the perfect drive continues, and UTSA's defense has had no answer for it, as Justin Bell is going to fight his way into the end zone. Ball was by far our best target for Vanderbilt on that drive, and Virginia quarterback Tony Muskett is starting us off with a little bit of a dump off. He's 1 for 1 for 1 yard, so I'm hoping that helps him build up some momentum, as now he's missing this throw, and it turns out it didn't help him at all. We need this 3rd and 9 though, and we're going to convert on it. So I think we should stay in 5 wide, as that's what we've had success in, but there was only one route I could really throw to there, and I'm just going to take the loss. It's not the end of the world to only get a couple of yards there, and it's much better than having a turnover, but triangle was wide open, and I saw it a second too late, so we need to do something here, and it's 4th and 18 where it feels like Vanderbilt has blitzed us every single play. Now we have somebody up the middle. I don't know who Wood Jr. is. I don't know why he got this open, but I need him to take this to the house to end the drive. And can anybody tell me what this safety was doing for Vanderbilt? He missed both of our players. Instead of doing the typical quarterback sneak, I'm gonna hit him with the read option, but that was stupid, and it's time for Tony Muskett to get us a touchdown. He didn't gain any yards there, but he did on this one, and we're just 7 touchdowns away from our goal now. We have scored on 11 straight drives, so recently everything has gone the way that we need it to, and Kyron Drones could get us 1 step closer to our goal if he plays well, but I don't really keep up with the Virginia schools, so I'm not sure how good they are at football. I feel like both of these colleges haven't been relevant for a while now in football, but at least they have James Madison in the state, and this is going to go for a 1st down. Anyway, it is kind of sad, but when I think of good football in Virginia, James Madison is the only school that comes to mind, and I can't believe he couldn't hold on to that one. I'm not going to give him another chance to drop it. I'm just going to take it to Wright, who was wide open. Nobody was on him, and I don't know why. We are now down to the 30, and you've watched me have success for so long, you're probably wondering if I'll ever fail again, because that is another successful drive, and I'm in the zone right now with only 8 colleges remaining. Mr. Mitch Griffiths is the next quarterback I have to use, and we're going to start off with a 15-yard gain to Grimes. So we just continue to fly down the field, and I was hoping that route deep would have gotten open. Mitch Griffiths is going to break the sack though, and he just couldn't get it away in the end. I probably should have looked for something underneath, but when I go short on plays like that, it doesn't work out for us, and we need a big play or something, but that's intercepted. To be honest, it was not a good read, but I can only mess up one more time, and it shouldn't happen with Michael Penix and this Washington offense because they're insane. I'm still really upset that our streak of successful drives was ended, but as long as we have more success, it'll be alright. And this should be a nice one for me to bounce back in because I have so many weapons I can use. I haven't even had a chance to look in Rome Odunze's direction yet, but now I will on this play, and he's going to come away with the ball, or Washington's best receiver is just going to drop it instead. I can't expect these guys to be perfect, but it is really frustrating, and Michael Penix is just going to have to get the first with his legs because I didn't throw it. I didn't want to take any risks. I don't want to throw any other picks, but I am going to go for it to McMillan on this one, and he comes down with the ball. That was very needed for us, and now I'm going to go back in his direction for a second time as he can catch, which is all you can really ask for, as we're so close to scoring a touchdown, but what a bad throw. I don't know why Michael Penix is making mistakes like that at this point in his career, but he did not just fumble that away. You've got to be kidding. There is a flag on the play, and I don't know what it's going to be, but either way, it doesn't take away the fumble, so I'm going to have to challenge it myself, and let's just hope that he was already down. It looks like his leg was on the ground. It is very close, so I don't know what the ref is going to do, but the play was reversed. We've gotten so lucky, and that is not going to lead to a touchdown. I have made this way harder than it needs to be, but we should catch this, and Jalen McMillan was our savior on that drive because he made up for all of it. It's still possible for me to reach 100 touchdowns, and I'm glad that we have Cam Ward because I think he'll help us get it done, but what was that? I don't want to say he didn't have any time back there, but he really didn't, and the Washington State offensive line did not want to see him succeed. He's going to have to try to make a play with his legs on this next one, and it won't go far. I do not like that it is already 3rd and 12, but we're going to make it a 4th and manageable, or maybe just pick it up here, and who would have thought that Kyle Williams would have gotten all 13 of those yards there? That was incredible from him, but the fact that we cannot catch the ball is starting to become extremely frustrating, and that was almost intercepted. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to stare down our triangle route, and thank goodness it was cover 3. We're going to beat up the seam. I really didn't have a good strategy going into that one, but now I know that I want to go to X on this next play, and those back-to-back large gains are going to make this touchdown possible. For a second, I thought we were going to fail again, but we just have to keep on pushing, and I know Garrett Green is known for running the ball, but I'm going to try to pass it with him too. I'm not so sure what his speed is on NCAA football, but he feels super quick, so we might as well just take off at least one time to get a big gain, and this is the exact type of player I want to use shoes, as we should be able to score on Washington State. Keep on fighting, Gallagher. That's the type of effort that we like to see, and you know what? We might have had circle deep, but instead we're going to float it into that tight window. I know that I make some of the worst reads in the world, but at the end of the day, at least it's somewhat entertaining, I would think, and there's another first. If you can figure out where my eyes are looking at the start of a play, you'll know exactly where it's going, because I always throw to my first read, and we're just a few touchdowns away from 100 plus. Malachi Corley should make this drive pretty simple, because he is an amazing receiver, and he has Austin Reed throwing him the football as he's going to get this first one out, and it's caught. I probably shouldn't stare down Malachi Corley, because I know that there was other stuff open on that play, but he keeps holding on, and this is how I expect all of my receivers to catch the ball. No mistakes at all, just having a ton of success, and I cannot believe that we've gone to him for 3 straight. I've stayed in hurry up mode, so he has to be tired, but that is now 4 in a row, and we might as well put him on a drag and see if he can get his 5th, but I don't think he's getting separation. Reed is going to break the tackle twice, and what is happening here? Please don't be a pick. I just panicked and hit a button, so thankfully that was off target, and I really want them to send a blitz because I'm looking at Malachi Corley, who finally got open, but I took the sack and didn't throw it, so it is 4th and goal, and this is just a risky throw, but unfortunately it didn't work out for us. Well, I can no longer make another mistake, and I was afraid it might come down to this. Hayden Wolf is going to need to have a solid drive against the Hilltoppers, and to be honest with you, I don't think I'm going to make a single risky read on this drive, but that could have literally been it, and that's why I'm so hesitant. It was the right move, but it just deflected off of his hands instead of it being a catch, and I feel like I haven't run a halfback screen in a while, but I wanted to make the quick read. This time I'll actually take it, and Western Kentucky was not prepared as Buckley has a lot of open grass in front of him. This should get us down to the red zone, and Hayden Wolf isn't struggling that much as we are just picking them apart. Once we got this far down on the last drive though, we messed up, so we have to finish this one off, and that makes us 98 for 124. It is time to see if I can fix Wisconsin's offense, and with freshman Braden Locke in the game, I'm not sure how that's going to go. They only put up 10 points on Ohio State in real life, but we do have Braylon Allen that we can go to, and I just have to hope that they're not expecting the halfback screen, because this could be a big gain if we get the right type of blocks, and he still gets the first. So far, the start has made me feel pretty good because we're 3 for 3, and that should make us 4 for 4, but I can't even be upset at Braylon Allen for dropping that ball because he's a running back and we're still going to get it. Western Michigan's defense is only a 74 overall, so this is an ideal matchup for us, and I think I have R1 deep, but as I saw that one, I got hit, and look at the separation we just got from Burrows. That'll get us to the 10. I'm just happy that I have a chance of getting to 100 touchdowns because there were parts in this video where I didn't think I would, but I have to be able to finish it off, and our halfback is not Braylon Allen out there. I think it's time to go full quarterback sneak mode, and I will do this 4 more times if I need to. Come on, Braden. I really wish NCAA football had the tush push, and I'm not sure if we're getting any closer. Just jump over. It was risky, but he actually made it over the end zone, and it all comes down to this. Andrew Peasley and Wyoming's offense versus the Wisconsin defense, and that is a great start. The refs are reviewing the catch though, and I feel like Trayton Welch was definitely able to drag at least one of these feet in. Of course the call is going to stand, and we're going to hit him with the exact same play again, but because of the play action, I couldn't go to the tight end, so we're going to have to go to Bodie instead. If you watched my quarterback road to glory this year, you would recognize that name, and for some reason we have somebody wide open up the seam, so we are so close to scoring, and Andrew Peasley needs to just make sure that he makes the right throw here. It's floated up perfectly, and it's caught. Wait. It didn't count. I have nothing to lose, so I'm going to challenge that catch. And I really couldn't tell if he got his feet in, but I just assumed with the ball floating so softly in the air, he would make sure to at least get that foot down. Come on. Unfortunately for us, the play stood, but we still have a couple chances to get on in, and that officially seals it. It came down to the final drive, but I've scored 100 touchdowns, and this final extra point just feels so sweet. If you all really like this concept, I will do it again with all of the college running backs, and you should probably dive into some of my other rebuilds, so here's a playlist of rebuilds, and here's what YouTube thinks you'd really enjoy.